Okay, this is gonna be another quick one today because I have things to do.
Oh, hi, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
This video isn't exactly going to be a continuation of the last video that I made, but it also kind of is gonna be a continuation of that last video that I made. So if you haven't seen it, maybe go watch it. I'm not sure how much they're going to be intertwined. So this isn't just a Bop House thing, and it's not just a Piper Raquel thing. It goes deeper than this. A lot of social media apps have blurred the lines between what's healthy for an adolescent mind and what's unhealthy for an adolescent mind, let alone what's healthy for a child's mind and what's unhealthy for a child's mind. Not even just that, even for adult minds, even adults, like we're not invincible to this thing. So I guess I should probably explain what the problem is with marketing this kind of thing on an app like TikTok. So TikTok, I don't know the specific age group. I know that it's mostly children and adolescents, right? And that's not to say there aren't adults using it, elders using it and whatnot. There absolutely are. That's just to say that the target audience and the majority of the audience on there are young, which means that the content that gets posted on there gets suggested to young people. Even if it's not that many young people, it's still young people.
So actually, they claim that the majority of their demographic is around like 18 to 25, but the issue is that even though their age group is set to be like 13 plus, a lot of parents and a lot of people just don't pay attention to that, and they still allow children on the app, or there's still a bunch of children on it in general, whether a parent's aware of it or not. It should also be noted that TikTok does not do the best whenever it comes to making sure that the demographic on their app is actually the age they claim they are.
The issue with it, I'll describe my own personal experience a little bit here. I'm 21. Other people that are around my age, you're aware that like we've kind of experienced this. Maybe not to this extent and at the ages that some kids are experiencing it, but we experienced it to an extent, and we still had some odd things happening on the internet. We kind of get the gist. When I was growing up, I had very unrestricted internet access. My mom definitely did not know the importance of that. So, you know, I've seen things, people around me have seen things, and, you know, it continues to go on because it wasn't just me, it was the majority of kids my age. Our parents did not realize that internet safety was important because they didn't grow up with internet. Like, it's that simple. They just didn't have it growing up, and then we did. It's that simple. That also continues whenever it goes into, like, let's say, not hating on the millennials or anything, but, you know, millennials, continuing with them. They didn't have TikTok, and out comes TikTok, you know what I mean? Instagram has its reels, but it definitely ain't nothing compared to, well, Instagram Reels is kind of questionable. We don't want Instagram Reels. I can't make this up, bro. FBI, open up! Who made this? And why are we making this?
Tricked you? No, I saved you.
I'm done with love you, Sabrina, but what was that? Even still, a lot of kids are on TikTok, all right? That's what I'm getting at here. So with that being said, this gets suggested to children. Even if that's not the original intent, it does get suggested to children. So take that as you will. Not only that, but so not only do we have situations kind of like the Bop House where they have a kid that gets brought into a house for content creation, we'll just say that, with possible adult audiences uncomfortably. Not only do we have that scenario, we also have a scenario where houses like this are promoting themselves to underage audiences. And I'm sure that websites like this, I don't know. So, you know, if I'm wrong, please let me know. I really hope that this is the case though. I'm sure that websites like this have some sort of safety mechanism where you have to prove your age with identification or something. I really hope that they have something like that. But like I said, I have no idea. So there could be young people subscribing to these things. I hope that's not the case. I'm probably not really gonna show much content in the corner or anything because it's gonna be a lot of adults promoting some uncomfortable things and doing uncomfortable things that I just don't really feel like looking at. I don't care if it's an adult or a child. I don't feel like sitting there looking at it. It's just not comfortable for me. If I do include them, probably gonna be blurred. So not only do we have the possibility, we also have the possibility of these adults promoting themselves to underage audiences. Underage audiences may or may not be subscribing to them. Even if they're not subscribing to them, you're still promoting yourself to like underage audiences. And though we have, again, the situation like Piper Raquel that I and others would consider, and that's just our opinions, don't catch me on that. We also have situations of audiences being into being an audience and a consumer of this kind of media. Plenty of people around my age and plenty of people older than me have a media consumption problem with this kind of content. And quite a bit of them have complained about it and gotten help for it and whatnot. And then quite a bit of them, I'm sure, still deal with it. But with that being said, that creates this cycle of people who are likely in that kind of like mindset where they themselves have been into this possibly. And if it's not even just that, it's just they themselves are in this media mindset and then don't realize they themselves don't realize the effects that this could have on other people because they're already trapped in that mindset. And then, you know, eventually they'll probably get out of it and be like, oh, you know, come to that realization. And if they don't, you know, there's also that scenario too. Anyway, less of getting into the mindset of it, more of getting into why it's wrong. So continuing on the whole thing about like people having this media consumption problem, which is a continuous issue. We've already got people around my age that have a problem with this kind of consumption, and we don't need to keep passing it down, which is all that's gonna happen if this keeps happening. I'm absolutely a do what you want with your body, do what you want with your life. It's your choice, it's your life, it's your decision. Especially if you're an adult, do what you want, I guess, whatever. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna have an opinion on it. And my opinion on this kind of thing is just why? Like, why are you bringing children into it, bruh? I don't know how much traffic places like TikTok actually bring, but like, you really, like, you're gonna risk other people's futures and sanity for that kind of thing? Like, all for some money every month, like $5 a month? I just don't think that's worth it. And it's not even just like people on TikTok or people on Instagram or people on social media. It's also media in general, like TV shows, like movies and stuff. There was a whole thing that I remember getting told my whole life growing up is that sells, and that's why everything was so sexual. Let alone the fact that I also grew up on a bunch of comedy movies that just kind of women and objectified us, and it's like all that was in the media that I was consuming. I'm not gonna lie. That also seeped out low-key into like kids media, because I ain't even talking about kids media here. At that time, that's me talking about my experience with like just being a kid having media that's, you know, not being monitored, and parents that probably should have paid a little bit more attention to what they were playing around their kids, but that is what it is. Nah, but for real though, like, I was watching stuff like Scary Movie, White Chicks, Austin Powers, any of the media that you can think of that was early 2000s, late 90s, adult comedy. I've probably seen it. And I feel like that's a case for a lot of people my age, or people a little bit older than me, or probably some that are even younger. I don't know. Regardless of the age, it's the case for a lot of people. I know that that's affected some people in a very subconscious way, and it's not like a whole, ooh, like, you know, you just like, it's all you think about. I mean, maybe for some people, I don't know. But I know that for a lot of people, it's just, I don't know. We need to stop going down this rabbit hole of objectifying women. And I'm not saying it's just women, because it really ain't. It really ain't. I mean, it even goes back to comic books. Come on, y'all. And comic books, you know, they were all just fun, fine and dandy, whatever. Like, nobody was supposed to be the body that a person could, like, attain. But sadly, not everybody realizes this, and that does cause some people to go into this chase for an unattainable body, and that's the whole other side of things, other than, like, messing with people's mindsets and the future and how they look at other people. It also affects how a person might look at themselves, because a lot of the people in this kind of media have a lot of surgeries done. All right, let's just be real. Not many of them are natural these days, and if they are, literally props to them. Like, they are so rare to find, and go you, but most of them are not natural. And again, it ain't just the ladies, it's everybody. And it could be anything too. That just really messes with your head, you know? Think about it. If that messes with an adult's brain, imagine what it does to an adolescent's brain, let alone a child's brain. Because remember, these aren't just being seen by adults. This stuff gets seen by younger people too. Because just because the audience that you mean to attract are adults, if that is what you're meaning to attract, you know what I mean? Because some people be weird. But if that's what you're meaning to attract, which I would hope and assume that's what you're trying to attract, that's not always what you're gonna get. Because as a kid who used to be on social media when I was like 13 or whatever on Instagram, I'd still get content like that suggested to me way back then. I'm not even joking. I wish I were. Like, you wouldn't think that way back then that kind of stuff was on Instagram, but it's been on there for a minute. It's just gotten worse. So, case in point being, this stuff just ain't healthy for anybody. Not in an overconsumptive manner, that's for sure. And that's definitely what we're being fed scoops of. We definitely don't have a healthy consumption when it comes to media anymore as a society. And I do think that just media in general needs to be slowed down on, but that's its own conversation. Specifically, this kind of media definitely needs to be slowed down on, because the whole sells thing, I mean, I get it, whatever, but like, also it gets to a point to where like that stuff's getting put into the wrong kind of content. Cue YouTube Kids, for example, or literally like half of the TV shows that we had growing up. And it's not the kids' fault, it's not, you know, whatever. It's the producer, director, all of them. It's those people's fault, bro. Like, what are y'all doing? What are you thinking? And how are there this many people and nobody's saying nah? And the issue is that if they are saying nah, then those people get kicked out and they're looked at as the wrong one. Whatever. Anyway, my point is, we need to change our media a little bit, and shoot, maybe it's just me, maybe it's just the people like me, maybe it's just the people around me, maybe it's a me problem, I don't know. Attack me, I don't care, whatever. Maybe it is a me problem. I really don't think it is though, because this is a problem that I've heard reiterated over and over again. I know that you can go around it. You know, TikTok, there's a way to like work your algorithm. You can sit there and not interact with the content you don't want to see and overly interact with the content you do want to see, and then voila, eventually it like fixes itself in a way. Or you can search things, whatever. There's all kinds of ways. You can also build your algorithm on Instagram, but the thing with Instagram is it like changes itself way faster than TikTok's algorithm. It's like weird. It changes itself back, I should say. It changes itself back way faster. But you can click not interested in whatever. Like, there are ways to reframe your algorithm. It just doesn't always stick. That's the problem. And not just that, it just shouldn't be a problem in the first place. It just shouldn't be an issue that we deal with. But it is. And I guess that's why a lot of adults and parents these days just aren't letting their kids on social media. Me personally, I've just like been changing the kind of media that I watch and intake. I don't know, I've started to work my way outside of like social media and watching content and whatnot and movies. I feel like our society as a whole has just been like seeing a complete perspective shift on the kind of content we like to intake. It's not even like just a nostalgia reboot, it's like a whole just shift back to, I don't know, it's weird. I'm sorry that this one's probably a little bit jumbled. Thank you all for coming along with me on this little journey. I hope it was fun for you, it was fun for me. Hopefully I make sense. If I didn't make sense, I'm probably gonna make it make sense. Bye!